Originally self-published in 2011, this book would go on to become the #1 best-selling book of the past decade in the US. What does this information bode for you as a self-published author anyway? Well, I'm going to talk about that more in today's video about the top 10 best-selling books of the past decade, so stay tuned. Hey, I'm Dale, a best-selling author as well as a self-publishing advocate who wants to show you how to publish books that sell. Stick around to the end because I'm going to be giving you some really great gems. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about today's sponsor in Romance Publishing Academy. If you don't want to wait till the end, you can always download the Romance Secrets Playbook over at dalelinks.com/romance. The NPD Group, which is responsible for doing book scan of publications in the United States, just released a report in mid-December 2019. They talked about the top 10 best-selling books of the past decade, and some of the information that they shared was pretty eye-opening. But why is this so important, especially on a channel that's devoted to self-publishing? Because let's face it, the top 10 best-selling books of the past decade are clearly going to be traditionally published books, right? Well, we want to focus on what's currently selling and how you can capitalize on it. So in this report, and I'll leave a link in the description down below to it, they talked about some of the trends that are starting to roll out over the past decade. Oftentimes I've shared on this channel how fiction dominates the vast majority of global publication profits, especially here in the United States. However, this report was kind of telling me something way different and was somewhat surprising to me because it said the top 10 books each year, more nonfiction books top the NPD book scan charts in the second half as opposed to the first half of the decade. In fact, in 2010, 80% of the top-selling books were fiction books. But you fast forward sometime later, in 2019, only 32% were fiction. According to Kristen McLean, a book industry analyst for NPD Bookscan, she said this consumer push for informational titles over fiction was reflected in larger nonfiction trends in the second half of the decade, such as the rise in cookbooks, self-help, and politics, which pushed more nonfiction titles into the top 10 lists. And then there's ebooks. I believe everybody knew that there was the rise of ebooks and its popularity back in 2010, and it really started just scaling up until about 2013, where it saw the peak of its sales. Then thereafter, it started to progressively go downhill. A lot of industry pundits were starting to believe that ebooks were going to eclipse print book sales. That never really happened. Actually, print books continue to dominate the global publication profits. But now we've got audiobooks coming into the space, and they're making a little bit of noise. I'm going to share a little bit more why audiobooks is starting to take over and how some people believe audiobooks is kind of like the new ebooks were of 2010. So who knows what we're going to be feeling like, say, come 2030. Content consumption shift. So this was an interesting part. They actually were talking about how print books were becoming shorter. So we were seeing way less page count for some of these top sellers. And why is this anyways? Well, it becomes the fact that there's more demand on the consumer's free time. And there's so many things that are readily available through video and audio. I mean, think about that. Audiobooks, podcasts, you have streaming video services. I mean, there's so much that's just vying for attention. So print might start to go the way of the ebook, but I don't think it's going to go away entirely. But let's go ahead and move on. And then there's the unexpected shift. This shift started going from fiction over to nonfiction, more importantly through poetry and self-help books, which started to really scale up how much they were selling towards the end of the decade. And each of these books were also shorter in length. This might get you scratching your head though, because as soon as I tell you the top 10 best-selling books of the past decade, you're gonna be like going, but Dale, where's the nonfiction at? Well, I imagine that we're gonna probably see that in the years to come, but for right now, fiction is dominating things. So let's just go ahead and roll out the top 10 books of the past decade. With number 10, Divergent by Veronica Roth. This grossed right about 6.6 million sales Number 9, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. That was 7.9 million sales altogether. My brother insisted I should go watch the movie. I never got the opportunity to. Have you watched it? Either way. Number 8, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. 8 million units sold. Number 7, Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. 8.1 million sales. Number 6, The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins at 8.2 million sales. Are you detecting a pattern yet? You've seen the top 5 I've said so far, and if you see what the pattern is, I want you to comment down below. Number 5, The Help by Catherine Stockett at 8.7 million sales. Fantastic movie. I actually watched this one, and I'm surprised I haven't picked up the book to read it just yet. It was thoroughly enjoyable. A longer movie, but definitely really good. Number 4, The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins at 8.7 million sales. Now, truth be told, I have not touched any of the Hunger Game movies. It's nothing that has ever appealed to me, but some people have said it's a fantastic series. I'm sure Jennifer Lawrence crushes it in those movies, but I've yet to actually watch it. And this brings me up to the next one. At number 3 is 50 Shades Freed by E.L. James, which sold 9.3 million sales. And then number 2, 50 Shades Darker by E.L. James at 10.4 million sales. That is freaking crazy. Between the two of those, nearly 20 million units sold in the United States alone. This is not including everywhere outside of that. And while we're kind of talking about the smash hit of 50 Shades and E.L. James, it kind of brings to mind romance and romance fiction publishing. And that's where I want to talk a little bit about today's sponsors in Romance Publishing Academy. They're a comprehensive start-to-finish program on romance publishing, of course. And whether you're a beginner or even more intermediate, the Romance Publishing Academy will develop your author brand and bring you results that will make you sell more books. This is not just a video course here, folks. This is a coaching program. They work with you 2-on-1 in a personalized basis to best ensure positive results. Their guarantee is they'll privately coach you until you recoup your investment in the program as a minimum monetary outcome. Book a no-pressure call and talk with them today. You're completely free to chat with them and see what tips they can give you to develop your overall publishing strategy. Whether you choose to work with Romance Publishing Academy or not, booking a call will help propel your publishing business forward. For the first step in the process, you need to download a free copy of the Romance Secrets Playbook when you visit dalelinks.com/romance. Again, dalelinks.com/romance. Now for that number 1 book. Well, I'm sure you probably already guessed it. It is E.L. James' 50 Shades of Grey. And it sold 15.2 million units. Wow. And here's a little bit of fun facts about this. Stay with me for just a second, because not too many people realized that this was actually a self-published book in 2011. It actually was inspired by the Twilight series. And the author actually was, just like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and put together some fan fiction based on this. And it was actually put onto a fan fiction site. However, they had to take it off the site eventually because of copyright issues and, let's just say, suggestive themes. I think you know where I'm going with that. Originally called Master of the Universe, she was able to go in and repin everything and name the characters differently and rewrite it somewhat to where it was released the way it is today. And it was launched in roughly May to June 2011, and within a year, she'd landed the traditionally published deal with a subsidiary of Random House Publishing, one of the big 5 companies. It then was translated into 52 different languages and sold millions worldwide, and of course, it was adapted into the screenplay that ended up grossing $94 million in opening weekend sales. So this just goes to show that if you're kind of looking at self-publishing as an avenue, like, I don't know if this is right for me, I really want to go for a traditionally published deal, look at someone like E.L. James. Took the top 3 spots of the top 10 best-selling books of the past decade. What could you be able to do in the next decade? Just think about that. And of course, visit dalelinks.com/romance to get the Romance Secrets Playbook. And also, if you're feeling like, oh man, I really need some more information, I've actually queued you up for another video here where I talk about 5 mega hot niches in 2020. And it's not just going to be romance, believe it or not. And you're not going to believe one of them. It's really shocking. Go take a look at it. I'll see you in the next video.